All right, here we go. Hey everyone, Adrian here, coming to you live. Right now, if it's a bit noisy, I apologize. I'm at one of the businesses that I work with, do some work for. Hang time, which is always fun. Kids get to play, I get to work, which is always great. If you're online, great. Jump in and let me know if the audio is okay. If you can hear me fine, just type yes in the comments and let me know. If you're not, that's okay. Let me know if you're watching the replay. Just comment replay and let me know what's going on there. Wanted to do this live video because I'm going to be discussing 3 things you can do, 3 things you can ask yourself before the year's end. So this time of the year, we're coming to the end of the year. We always seem to dwell on our life, how life's been. We seem to assess how we've gone in the last 12 months. And for most of us, we make a very big mistake. And I'm going to discuss what that mistake is, and then I'm going to give you 3 things that you can think about, 3 things you can ask yourself, 3 things that you can change the direction of your life going forward. I know it's a big claim, but it's a very commonly overlooked thing, which I think is going to really, really help you. So let's get stuck into it. Enough rambling. Here we go. So we get to this time of the year. It's the end of the year. We ask ourselves, where's the year gone? Every year we seem to say the same thing. This year's just gone so quick. I'm not sure where the year's gone. And then you start to think about, like, what have I done? I've been so busy, but what have I accomplished? And then you start to think about, if you're anything like most people, you do a very bad thing, which is you start thinking about all the things you did wrong, all the things you could have done, all the things that you should have done, all the things that you did that you could have done better. And here's why that is, to me, a negative way to think of things, and why it's actually contradictory to achieving better results in the next year, in the coming year. And it's simply because of this. It has to do a lot with your emotions. It has to do a lot with when you think about things that you could have done, should have done, never did, messed up, made mistakes, all that kind of stuff. What that does is it takes your mind back to the past memory. So all the things that you did wrong. And then what that also does is it triggers an emotion which is related to that memory. So how this affects you is quite simple. You start thinking about all the things that you didn't do or should have done better, and you start to feel shit about yourself simply because you're reliving the moment. You're producing the same negative feelings, emotions about that time that you didn't do that thing, or whether, from that moment that you thought, I could have done better, I should have done this better, if I only had my time over again. Whereas it's fine to reflect in a certain level, but if you're going to dwell on all the things that you did wrong, well then you're going to conjure up the same emotions. You're going to start feeling shit and terrible about all the things that you didn't do. So rather than do that, why don't you think about all the things that you did right? Why don't you think about the things that went well for you in the last 12 months? What are the things that really worked? Because what we can do in this ADD world that we live in is we have things that really, really work well, but because we've got this sort of, shiny objectitis, most of us do, especially if you're creative, especially if you're entrepreneurial, especially if you want to accomplish things, throughout your life. And particularly if you want to do a lot in a year, particularly if you're a family, like if you're, husband, wife, you've got kids, like life gets busy. We've got everything to do within our day-to-day lives, our business lives, our personal lives, family lives. It just all gets very, very busy. So what happens is we get distracted. So we start doing things that are really good, start doing things that are very successful, that work really, really well, but then we stop doing them because we get distracted and we go on to the next shiny object that we want to do. So why don't we then now reflect at the end of the year? It's a great time to reflect on the things that we did right, on the things that really, really worked well. So that's step number 1. Step number 1 is think about things that worked for you this year. Step number 2, consider the 80-20 rule. I was listening to, I have a conversation with my brother last night, and he was mentioning that in his business, he was doing all sorts of things that were in aid of the business, that were generating income. But when it come down to what was generating the most income, it was like 20% of his efforts were generating 80% of the results, or 80% of the income. So the epiphany was, why don't I focus on that 20% activity that produces 80% of the results. And I think it's a profound yet very simple statement, and something that we as business owners and entrepreneurs and people that want to do well, this can really relate to anything in your life. You know, I went to the gym, I felt fit, I felt alive, I started to lose weight, I really started to feel invigorated, stopped going to the gym, got tired, you know, so why not do more of that, you know, exercise or whatever it may be. So this related to business and entrepreneurial stuff. The 80-20 thing, so the 80-20 rule. So what is the 20% for you that produced 80% of the results? What is that for you? There could be two things, but try and think of it and put yourself in a perspective that if I just concentrate on the things that I did right, then that in itself generates positive feelings and emotions about the things that you did good, because we just don't pat ourselves on the back. We just go the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so we've got to keep moving on to doing new things. So let's first of all pat ourselves on the back and say, you know what, I did great in these areas of my life or this part of my business. Next, the 80-20 rule. What is the 20% of my efforts that produce 80% of the results? Here's the third thing, and it's a very critical one. Did that 20% activity bring you joy and energy? So can you do it over and over again is the question that I'm asking, or I'm asking you to ask yourself. Can I do it over and over again? And if the answer is yes, then that is fantastic, because you can now focus on that 20% activity that produces 80% of the results. And not only does it produce 80% of the results, you get the most joy, love, and energy out of it. Meaning you can do it over and over again and don't get tired. Right? Of course, we can ask questions about scalability and all that kind of stuff. We won't go into that for this particular video. All right, so let me recap. If you're feeling stuck at the moment, if you're feeling like you're in a position where you're like, I've been so busy all this year, but I haven't really accomplished anything, or I don't feel like I have, then you start to reflect on the things that you did do, but you go immediately to the things that you did wrong, things that you could have done, should have done, didn't do. So all of a sudden, what that does is it puts you in a position where your physiology now starts to generate emotions, and you start to feel crap about everything that you didn't do. So now you're reliving the mistakes, you're reliving the past, and you're feeling shit about your life and about how business is going. Then you start all the doubt and all the fear and all the, you know, all the emotions start to come on top of that about, you know, is this the right thing for me? Did I make the right decisions? Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was, all that kind of stuff. If we just flip the switch and go, you know what, maybe I can just focus on things that I did do well. And then pat yourself on the back and give yourself credit, because, hey, this is a lonely space trying to accomplish things, do things, be all things to all people. You know, this is a lonely world, right? So it's you and that's it. It's you and the road, yeah? Then the next, focus on the 80-20 rule. What is the 20% of your activity that produces 80% of the results? And then the next following question, which is in alignment with that one, is did that bring me joy? Did that bring me happiness? Did that give me energy? Can I do it over and over and over again and not get tired? Is this making sense so far? Send the thumbs up across the screen if it is. So those three things I feel will dramatically change the way you finish the year. And of course, it's going to put yourself in a mindset shift to then, when you go into 2019, you're now going to not do the things that cause you the most grief. And so now, like the overarching question to all of this, once you decide these three things, is to ask yourself, like, how can I fit more of that one thing that produced 80% of the results, that gives me joy and love and gives me energy and juice and I can do it all the time, into next year? How can I fit more of that into next year? What are the, you know, if we're talking business terms, what are the $10 an hour jobs that I've been busily doing that I can then delegate or move away to someone else? And then give myself the $100 an hour jobs, which I love to do, which generate 80% of the results, and it gives me joy and it gives me a buzz and it keeps me going, keeps me enthusiastic throughout the year, and I can keep going and going and going and going. Is this all making sense? All right, I hope it is. I'm going to answer a couple of quick questions after this. So before I do though, if this is all sounding great to you, if you are feeling like 2019, you want that to be the year that really makes a change for you, that really starts to flick that switch and makes a shift into 2019, and you want some help with mindset, motivation, and you want to really create some mindset habits that are going to give you that propulsion into 2019, then simply just comment mindset below. The reason why I say that is because I've got a brand new course coming up, which is how to create an unshakable mindset. It's a 7-module course, and it's all online. You can do it in your own time. And I'm really, really excited about it because I've put my heart and soul into creating hacks, mindset hacks. I've created like all sorts of meditations and positioning on your emotions, positioning on values, on how to set goals and actually achieve them. The roles that emotions play, and how to focus your mind on achieving your goals throughout the year, and how to really steady the ship in the rough seas, because we can all sail on the smooth ocean, right? So but it's really in those rough times that we need the most help. So if you want help with that, if you want help with mindset, then let me know in the comments, and just comment mindset, and I'll send you the link to this course. It's not released right now, but it will be. So if you want to be one of the first to receive it, let me know in the comments. Okay, let's move on to Q&A. I've got a couple of questions throughout the week, and I want to try and answer them live in a session like this online. So we're going to sort of really change gears now and get away from mindset, and we're going to get into more sort of techie, because these are technical questions from other business owners. So the first question, and I have answered this online, but I wanted to do this for the listeners as well, because you might have had the same questions. From Kim Muirhead Holland, I hope I said that right. She asked me, what platform do I use to edit my videos? So Kim, and for everyone else that's listening, I use an editing program called Vegas Studios. It's actually, I think, been renamed now to like Platinum 15 or something like that. But if you type in Vegas Studios into the Google, it'll come up. It's about a $70, $80, $100 US program. And I'm just a simple guy when it comes to techie stuff, so I edit all of my videos using Sony Vegas Studios. It does everything that I need anyway, so I simply just point and shoot the camera, chuck it into the Vegas Studios, add some music onto it or whatever I have to do, or start cutting it up and trim the end, trim the beginning and the end, and then upload it. You can upload it directly into YouTube, you can upload it directly into Facebook. Like, it's got a really couple of cool features, all right? So I hope that helps, and thank you for your question as well. And next question is from Kelly Pillow. Hello, Kelly. Kelly asked me today, what's the best video conferencing program that I use? And Kelly, look, there's only really, I've used Skype before and things like that, but in terms of having cloud-based storage and having a program that's really robust and it's really got a lot of features to allow you to grow with it, the program, I just had a mind blank for a second. If I can just get this program up. Zoom. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Anyway, Zoom. Zoom.us or Zoom.us. That's what I use. So I originally started on their free platform. You can do up to 45-minute interviews or conference calls with those, video calls. I use this when I traveled overseas and worked from overseas. I use Zoom all the time. It was fantastic as a video conference call. Just set up the phone like this on the tripod and just had my conference calls with my clients in Australia from all over the world. So it was absolutely brilliant and a very great program. But I've since then upgraded rather, to the webinar version. So the reason why I want to do the webinar version is simply because I want to run webinars. So it gives me a lot more things that I can do with it. And again, it's a really robust and a really widely used program, very user-friendly as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I would use there, okay? Zoom.s, sorry about the delay, I just had a mind blank. I'm 24 hours into a fast at the moment out of 48, so I could be fading just a little bit. Anyway, guys, thanks for those who have been tuning in and coming in and out. I realize that this is been promoted at a time that's probably inconvenient to everyone, but it's convenient to me, and that's the most important thing at the moment, whilst the kids have a jump on the trampoline. So once again, I just want to thank you for your time. I really love doing these videos, and I plan on doing a lot more of them throughout the week to help you guys in your efforts to become better people, better humans. Thank you for your time. And until we meet again, I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.